defending the movie. Everybody's loving this movie. It's like at a 95% audience score. And there's people like, oh, I don't understand. It's just B-roll of like cool visuals, like and this, and like they're complaining about the movie showing the beauty of Pandora when James Cameron said this himself. Pandora is a character in itself in this movie, and and what was it that he was saying? Like, oh, it's just after every scene, there's this like scenes of them in the water and this, and it's like. The movie is called Avatar: The Way of Water. They are learning the way of water, and we are exploring this aspect of Pandora with the characters. That's what makes the movie so great. What's going on, guys? Cruzin podcast. We are back. Today we are going to talk about Avatar: The Way of Water. We have seen the movie 4 times for me because I just saw it again last night in opening week. So I think we have a pretty good idea of how we feel about the movie. We always knew we wanted to watch it more than once, especially since the first experience didn't really count for us. But we're gonna talk about it today. We'll go into non-spoiler, then we'll get into a little bit of spoilers after at the end of the show. So before we actually start, our first viewing didn't count because when we went to the AMC theater, we watched it, all the times we watched in IMAX 3D. So we get our IMAX glasses, we're excited, we got there early, we got there extra early, we had our popcorn ready, whatever, and next thing you know, when the trailers start, we're like, something seems off with the 3D, right? We're like, this seems a little off, but I remember you told me, like, doesn't this seem weird? I'm like, no, maybe it's just the trailers, Then the movie starts, and I mean, our eyes are like literally like crossing. Like I had cross eyes. It was terrible. So like we weren't able to focus on like probably the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Until we're like, okay, no, I can't do this. Like we couldn't read the subtitles. We couldn't, like, my eyes literally felt like they were just going, like it was bad. So we look for the manager, like, hey, something's going on. He looks at our glasses and immediately he's like, oh my God. They had given us the wrong 3D glasses because there's like 3 different types of 3D showings, like regular, Dolby, and then IMAX. So we chose to stay and finish the movie, but it just didn't feel right, So we watched it again immediately. We saw it like 3 more times after that. But I thought that was just a funny story because of course we wait so long for this movie, 13 years. We're there early. We got everything ready, and they give us the wrong fucking 3D glasses at the theater, and it ruins our first viewing, which it does. That hurt it. Yeah, that hurt it.
I waited so long.
Yeah, we waited. That sucks. That the manager was like, "Fuck, like guys, I'm so sorry."
It's the biggest movie of the year.
Yeah, but with like that being said, seeing it 3 more times.
We were the only ones with the wrong glasses.
Yeah, everybody else was good. Anyway, so we see it 3 more times, and we're gonna give our thoughts. I'll start off by saying I think this is a beautiful movie, man. A beautiful movie. Every time I watch it, I enjoy it more and more. I obviously what James Cameron and the team do with the visual effects, that alone, it's incredible what they've done here. I mean, the standard now for VFX in movies is at a whole new level, and I think everybody leaving the theater really felt that. People were cheering. People were crying. People were left feeling refreshed, like it, and it was a beautiful thing to see. And the VFX, I think, what James Cameron does with his story, with the characters, I really felt so connected to the characters, and not just to Jake Sully and the Neytiri, but the kids. That was a big selling point for this movie. Like, if you don't buy into the kids, you're not gonna care for this movie, right? Because it's really centered on them and what they're, them being the kids to Jake Sully, who's, Taruk Matao, and like, I really love the family dynamic in this, this family story about like family, just those core family values and what it takes and stuff. And I really cared for the characters in this, and I love the movie's 3 hours long. We've seen it 4 times in a week. And not once did I feel it leaves me wanting more. Like the 3 hours, just it's so well paced. And the one thing that's been pissing me off on TikTok, and we were just talking about this before, is these fucking people that are like, there was this one guy on TikTok that was just like, and a lot of people, there's been a couple people complaining about this, but it makes me happy that there's people defending the movie. Everybody's loving this movie. It's like at a 95% audience score. And there's people like, oh, I don't understand. It's just B-roll of like cool visuals. Like, and this, and like they're complaining about the movie showing the beauty of Pandora when James Cameron said this himself. Pandora is a character in itself in this movie. And, and what was it that he was saying? Like, oh, it's just after every scene, there's just like scenes of them in the water and this, and it's like, the movie is called Avatar: The Way of Water. They are learning the way of water, and we are exploring this aspect of Pandora with the characters. That's what makes the movie so great. That's what makes it so effective by the end of the film, because you care. You understand this world.
The problem is, it's people are so used to that Marvel.
People are so used to like that Marvel formula, or like just modern movies where everything's just fed to you and like, oh, here's a quick montage, and then the movies we're in the third act, and that's why we don't care by the end of anything. We're like, oh, okay, you don't feel anything.
It's the same thing with the Matt Reeves Batman movie.
Yeah,
where but the whole third act. Wait, if
people are used to a certain standard, and I did want to mention that real quick because it's like that really irks me, because it's like, you clearly didn't get what the movie's all about, and because it pays off for the end. As I just wanted to say real quick, like the pacing is awesome. Is there clunky dialogue in the beginning a little bit? Yes.
What do you mean, cuz?
Yeah, not even in the beginning that bothered me.
Let's
but
make some money.
Yeah, like the human dialogue.
That's funny.
Like the human stuff, it's like, yes, it's a little clunky, but I
don't care.
Star Wars has clunky dialogue sometimes. It's fine. Where the movie thrives for me, I think the second act, and obviously the third act, but the second act, when we're exploring this world, the movie thrives. Like, I think when we're with the kids, we're with the Sully family, and they're learning, and the movie thrives for me. I love it. And the third act is great. I think it sets up the future movies really well, and I loved it. Yes, a little clunky dialogue at times, especially in the beginning, the human stuff. Or like that guy, right? Like, let's make some bank,
He said
stuff,
it like 5 times.
Yeah, there's some stuff where it's like, I get it, the humans are bad. I get it. But you see why, because it pays off later on. But I really love this movie. When people ask, like, do you like it more than the first one? Someone commented, and I agree with him. It's like, I love them both equally because it's different, right? Like, I love this one and the first one equally because it feels like a continuation. I don't really like to compare them because it really is just like an expansion, But
if someone asked me, I would say this one.
I think the emotional attachment works way better.
I mean, I love both. I like 1 and 2. If I had to pick one or the other, I would pick this one just because I think the action is actually a lot better than the first one.
Yeah.
And I like the whole water aspect. I thought the water thing is cool.
Yeah, and the emotional arcs in this movie really work a lot more than the first one. There's certain aspects with the first one that are a little bit better in the sense of like with the third act, like the battle scene. Not the action itself that's better, but in this one, in the ending, which we'll talk about in spoilers, I had like some questions. It's like not a big deal, but the emotional arcs in this really pay off. The characters, you really care for the kids, that's a hard thing to do. You come in expecting to, you want Jake, Jake Sully and Neytiri, and we're getting like these new characters and these new kids, and I think the kids do really well. Everyone does really well. I would say the weaker link is the spider character, but it was a hard thing for him to do because he's the only human in that family group, and everybody else is a Na'vi. The Na'vis look great on 4K high frame rate. The humans look a little rough because it's so clear and it's so in your face that it looks a little too real, and it takes you away, if that makes sense. But other than that, I really loved it. I think the soundtrack is great. The movie's well paced. People who are complaining that they were bored in the second act, it's because people's attention spans are so off right now. They're so used to just like, here's an hour and 50-minute Thor movie, right? That's just like go, 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 go. And then you're like, you don't feel anything, you know? But I really enjoyed it. I think the soundtrack is great. And yeah, that's more or less my thoughts. We'll get into more details, but I mean, what did you...
Yeah, the same. Movie's good. The movie's great. The whole underwater sequence, damn, it was just so good.
Yeah.
Because especially with the 3D, there was times where I kind of wanted to like try to like grab the fish.
Yeah.
Because it's like right there.
Or like the raining scenes, like when it's raining.
That
and stuff
first
like
act, the first act, like that jungle sequence, was amazing. I love that jungle sequence. Every time like that scene comes on, like it's so good.
And it's, you know, it really sets a new standard. That's what this movie shows, how far filmmaking can go technology wise, right? This movie has done it this year. Top Gun Maverick has done it. And notice these two movies are these big blockbusters that people really resonate with and people feel refreshed, right? Top Gun Maverick brought in everybody back to the theater and everybody loved it. And I think this movie is doing the same. The people cheering, crying, people really want to come out and watch this movie, and I think it's doing really well. And I'm glad it's doing well. You have the haters, right, for whatever the reason that they want it to flop. I don't know why, right? I really don't understand it. But
because it's a simple story.
Now
have you seen
everybody
a
all
movie?
Everybody all of a sudden is like a script story expert. I guess everybody took screenwriting class now because I've never seen this kind of energy for Marvel movies.
I'm sorry, even like Spider-Man. Spider-Man, great. It's a fantastic film. It was a great experience. The story is basic as shit.
Yeah, it's a simple story.
And also, look at the plot holes. Like, wait, instead of talking to the college dean or whatever,
Right.
he went to Doctor Strange to wipe everyone's memory.
Yeah, it's like what Rob said on the John Campion show. He's like, if this was like a different IP, if it was like a Star Wars movie, nobody would care. You know,
but for some reason,
it's just with there's something with Abbott. Maybe it's because there's a lot of kids that didn't even watch the first one growing up. You know, they weren't even born probably, and they just want to hate on it because it's something different. I don't know, but I think it's executed really well. Yes, does it have its issues? Of course, no movie's perfect. You know, no movie's perfect. But man, this is a fresh new IP, original story, a sequel. We're getting a new franchise that James Cameron wants to expand. And it's nice to have a franchise, an original franchise that's new and refreshing that we can get. You know, we haven't had that in a while. And I really enjoyed it. I think the soundtrack is great. And people are loving it. People are loving it. It's like at a 95, 96 user rating, you know? And if you haven't seen it by now, go watch it. Go watch it in IMAX 3D. Go with family, friends, whatever. It's honestly a great experience. We've seen it 3 to 4 times in IMAX 3D, and it's incredible how good this movie looks. The villain
is great.
I think Stephen Lang is so much better in this one than the previous one. I like the approach that they took with his character. Even the only weak links, I would say, Spider. And some of the clunky dialogue, and that's it.
It's only that one guy, that one Australian dude.
No, or just like it would have to be in spoilers, I guess, because I don't want to give it away. But there's some dialogue in with the kids in the beginning where it's like a little rough.
Well, like
when Spider is talking about family and stuff like that, he's like, "Dude, it's fine." You know,
it's like
it's a little clunky.
It's a bunch of like 50-year-olds trying to how would a bunch of teenagers talk?
Yeah, and I also think the character of Spider is a tough one to deal with.
It was too much dude, bro, and cuz.
Yeah, it was very 90s dialogue.
Like they don't need to say.
And it slows down throughout the movie. Again, when it gets into the Navi stuff, when they're learning, it's great.
Yeah.
I just loved him learning and
just cut back on the dude, bro, and cousins.
yeah,
Like,
and it was mostly like the spider stuff, I think, because again he had a tough task there because he's the only human, and that's
no. But the thing is, it was even during the action scene, like dude, come on, dude, watch out, dude.
Yeah,
it's like he has a name.
Yeah, I get it.
Or there's like you can say another word besides dude.
Yeah,
or like watch out, cuz or bro.
Yeah, the
like,
cuz is like I haven't heard that in years. But man, I really love this movie. That and also what happened to the clan people in the at the battle.
And
I had
that
that question too.
I don't care.
But it's something that you notice. Like, wait, where do they go?
But
I watched it again yesterday, I was like, and then there's some parts you see them in the background. I'm like, okay, they're fighting in the background. But then as we start getting to the really like the finale, I was like, oh no, wait, they're gone, like completely gone.
Yeah.
But it's something I noticed. It didn't bother me, but it's something I noticed. But I do think I forgive it because the ending to this movie is honestly like awesome. Like Kiri and Loak getting their moment. Like Loak, like Jake Sully seeing his son, like, oh wait, like he learned so much about the way of the water. He teaches him about his breath hold and understanding the water, and the Payakan, the toucan, and like seeing his relationship with him, and that he was telling the truth, like and the toucan saved their life, and then also Kiri like embracing her connection with Awa, and then Natiri seeing that for the first time. I think that's the first time she really sees it, like why she's been acting so weird or like upset, and then seeing her coming in and like really just being connected with the ocean and like coming to save them.
Even
it's a big moment for both characters with their parents, and then
and earlier in the movie when they're like underwater, when she was like playing with it, those little fishes,
the glowing fish,
and how Kate Winslet's character was looking at her, and she was kind of like, wait, how is
just
she
naturally already connected to it? I love what they did with Carrie's character. I thought that was great, and that ending with the soundtrack and the way it was cut of them swimming, and it's like Locke getting his moment with his dad, which he's always wanted, and then Carrie just embracing her power.
That's why I removed my brother from the equation. Did it on purpose.
And I think the Nateum death scene really works. That scene was just, with the eclipse and the sunset, like it was just beautifully done.
Everyone in the theater.
Zoe Saldana does amazing in that. As Natiri just selling that death.
She always uses that one screaming scene.
Yeah. And I love what James Cameron did with that scene. It was straight to the point. He doesn't have any final words. He couldn't even get a final word out. Yeah. That hits it even more because he wanted to say something, and he kept it. He didn't want to make it cheesy. The cheesy way would be like, him having final word.
Natiri played no games after that.
Yeah, and it got really dark after that.
She was like,
I like that he chose to do that too. Like he showed like a dark side to her, But she snapped.
Yeah, she hates humans.
She snapped,
Yeah, the spider saw that. She's like, oh.
Yeah, he was hiding.
I always laugh at that part because he was like, oh.
Yeah, because she was never really.
She didn't like him.
She never too fond. Like he should be with his own kind,
It's kind of fucked up because like, Timothy Jake is, half human.
Yeah, but also who his father is and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Miles is the colonel.
Who did the colonel bang on that?
Yeah. And I think that storyline is interesting. I like the colonel is not just like, because in the first movie he's kind of like just one dimensional bad guy. Like I'm bad, that's it. Here. He has a little bit more depth. Like he's a little hesitant.
It's not really him.
That's the thing. So
like he has his memories, but
he probably has his own side where he's a little bit more vulnerable. Like he chooses. He didn't kill the Na'vi people when his son asked him not to. He showed a softer side to him that I think the movie
speak Na'vi.
Yeah,
Na'vi.
and letting Kiri go to save him because Natiri was gonna kill him. You know,
and he knew.
That was a great scene. That standoff and the way she delivered her lines, like I cut, you know, a son for a son. That was great. That was intense. And then we got to see, you know, the Colonel's character, like, okay, like he there's heart to him, you know.
He cares about, you know.
So I think that's going to be really interesting for the
like,
next movie.
That fucking spider, you know, he saved him.
But it makes sense, right? Like they have this love and hate thing going on, and it's really complex. And I think it's gonna build up in the next movie.
Don't let this chick find out, Natiri.
That's what I'm excited about with this next movie because
she's gonna fucking.
That's on him now, you know. And now they officially brought him in because Jake Sully. I was trying to figure out that line when he says that line again, like a son for a son. Like if like they really embraced him. Because, you know, he helped them. He helped save the daughters. And so that's going to be a big moment, I think, in the third movie. That, yeah, he's part of the family now, but you just saved...
And he's coming back.
And he's going to come back, you know? Yeah. So I found that really interesting. And I'm curious to see also Stephen Lang's character, like... How is he going to be in the third movie? I feel like he's going to be different. I feel like he has this vulnerable side that was like slowly being
my theory is that it might be something like Darth Vader, like where he's like bad.
He's going to have a redemption arc at some point.
Well, yeah, but he's going to like maybe like get it.
Yeah.
You know? Because technically, yeah, like he's just going after Jake Sully because the memories and what the video told him.
Yeah.
You know, but he said like and with the scene with Spider, he's like I am not that man.
Yeah.
So I think his redemption is gonna be something like
it's gonna be something similar like that, and then and seeing, and he's Na'vi, like that's it, like he's nothing else. He's not human. Yeah. So and you kind of see him slowly, kind of like embracing the role of Na'vi a little bit, you know, when he bonds with forgot the name of the animal, but you know,
the flying
one, and also learning the language with him, with Spider and stuff. I'm sure there's more scenes with them that they probably had to cut for the sake of the runtime that could have helped establish that a little bit more, but you can kind of see it, you know. And I think the third movie, I'm very interested to see where that goes. And this movie, the one thing that it does really well, it leaves you wanting more. This movie, when it ends, every time it ends, I'm like, I really want more. I want to see more of this world, these characters, like a series almost, you know? Because it's like that, you're that invested. And I think the kids are great. I think Turuk is like a standout, the young daughter. You know, she has a lot of funny moments, and like it's just really well done. I think James Cameron does great with the kids. The movie thrives with the kids and them with the Water Clan learning the way of water, and just when you're just there bonding with them, you know, when they get in fight with the other kids with the bullying, and then Jake Sully, you know, like the humor works in this movie too. I noticed that every time we watch it in the theater, people were laughing at the humor because again, it was natural humor, not this Marvel humor that we're so used to getting. If it was like character-driven humor, you know, like Jake Sully asking him, "Oh, how was the other kid when they got in the fight?" He's like, "Oh, good, you get out of here." Like it's natural, character-driven humor. And I think they nailed it, man. I think they nailed it, and it leaves you excited for what's to come. And 3 is filmed; they're working on it. It'll come out in 2 years, and I'm excited. And he has 4 and 5, like parts of 4 filmed, and he has 4 like they're written. So there's 5 of these movies. So we got like 4 more.
And he wants to do 6.
That's crazy.
But he said for part 6 it'll be someone else. Yeah, he was gonna train someone to do 6.
So, you know, it's great, man. Great stuff. I'm excited for more. Anything else?
It's a great movie.
Great movie. Go watch it if you haven't, and let us know, guys, if you're watching or listening. Let us know in the comments. What did you think of the movie? Did you watch it yet? If you did watch it, did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Did you find it boring? And you know, there's people that are actually like, "Oh, the second act is boring." It's like, man, then just sit and relax. Watch the movie. That's the thing. People are just like, they want to be constantly fed. Like, plot, 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 movie over. And then you don't feel anything because everything is just rushed. But yeah, definitely let us know, guys. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Let us know in the comments. Are you excited for the next one? And yeah, guys, that's our review on Avatar: The Way of Water. Hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like and subscribe.
My way.
My way. And to the next one. Goodbye.